All right, greetings, class. So I just wanted to put together a, quick midterm review for you. The midterm exam will be open beginning on Friday, Thursday, I believe, March 1st at midnight. It will open up, and it'll be on Blackboard, and it'll be available March 1st through 11:59 p.m. on March 4th. So you can take it any time between then. You will not be able to access the exam after 11:59 on March 4th, though. So you'll need to start it before then. The exam will consist of 75 multiple choice questions. You'll have 60 minutes. The time limit will be forced. So as soon as you start the exam, the clock begins running. You will have 60 minutes. It will automatically save and submit your exam at the 60-minute time limit. So you won't be able to work on it after the 60 minutes. Roughly, there are 15 questions from Chapter 2, 18 or so questions from Chapter 3, some from about 8 from Chapter 4, and 17 questions from both Chapter 5 and 17 from Chapter 6. So basically, so I'll just kind of cover this. I've just pulled some of the slides from the PowerPoints for the lectures, and we'll just kind of skip through these fairly quickly. So just kind of starting with Chapter 2, the different types of sales jobs, the roles of each of these types of salespeople, the types of characteristics of each of these types of sales roles, some of the key roles that the salespeople have for the firm, also important to know, how salespeople contribute to customer value, understanding the different the process of trust-based relationships, the different foundations for selling. So I'm just flipping through these fairly quickly. So my expectations would be you would know this information a little more in depth based on the information in the chapter. But definitely these different foundations for selling. The different classifications and selling approaches, the characteristics of each one of these, and how they are used in the selling process. How sales forces respond to different complexity and collaboration and accountability issues. From Chapter 3, the different roles within the firm, different types of strategy, the key decision points within those types of strategy, where sales management falls in that, and the different types of management levels regarding those different strategies. The steps of developing a corporate strategy, and didn't mean to have those in there. The role of different strategic business units, how that impacts sales and selling decisions, and different SBU objectives. Porter's generic business strategies. Understand each one of the different components, 3 different types of generic strategies. Kind of understand where personal selling strategy and kind of fits into the overall marketing strategy and marketing communication strategy. The differences kind of between personal selling driven versus advertising driven strategies, and the different kind of market characteristics and differences between business and consumer markets. The different types of buying situations from the buying center, the new task, modified rebuy, and straight rebuy. characteristics of those types of purchase decisions, the different roles that exist within a corporate buying center, and the influence that these people have on the decisions, purchase decisions. Looking at the different roles within the selling process of industrial distributors versus independent or manufacturers reps. When an independent representative and company Salesforce, their relationship to cost, overall costs, and at what point, is one more cost effective than the other. From Chapter 4, looking at the differences between market specialization and some of the determinants of those decisions. The role of forecasting, the importance of it, and some of the forecasting methods that are used and what they're used for. Top down versus bottom up, different approaches for those. Moving averages, exponential smoothing, decomposition, the breakdown methods. Some of those bottom up approach methods, regression analysis. So just be sure to, especially for Chapter 4, really looking over that appendix section of all the different forecasting methods and when they're used and which ones are in which situations are best used in certain scenarios. Chapter 5, the recruitment and selection process, some of the challenges associated with that. How some of the strategies for achieving realism, achieving congruence, and how they relate to Salesforce Socialization, and even this proposed model of Salesforce Socialization. What are the components of a job analysis? What they entail? What is the job qualifications? What are the things involved in that? What are the important objectives for recruitment and selection? What are some of the strategies associated with that? Sources for recruitment, finding those prospective candidates, where those might come from. Some of the evaluation and hiring decision processes, screening resumes, applications, interviewing process, legal and ethical guidelines related to the interviewing and selection process. This I would have a kind of, I wouldn't go too deep in knowing all of these legislation. I would have an understanding, kind of a broader understanding of what each of these kind of cover, but I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on it, but fairly, having a good understanding of what these are, but I'm not going to ask a lot of questions that go too in-depth into these. And then just some of the legal and ethical considerations for sales managers. And then I think the Chapter 6, the training chapter, really understanding kind of that link between training and productivity, what some of the essential, objectives are for firms and why they need to do it. Understanding and knowing all these different steps of the sales training process, the different components of methods of assessing needs. I would know these. understanding the different types of buyers that might be encountered and how training can address how to deal with these different types of buyers. Steps, some sales training objectives, there's a number of them that are provided. I would have a good understanding of what those are. And ways of evaluating different alternatives to training. Different sales training methods, different media. And then what are some of the challenges associated with effective sales training? So that is a very down and dirty review of the content of the broad areas that will be covered on the midterm exam. Again, it will be a 60-minute exam, 75 multiple choice questions. The exam will be taken through the online classroom, and it will be a forced exam, so you'll have 60 minutes. It will automatically submit the exam after 60 minutes, whether you're finished or not. It will just submit it wherever you are. So hopefully that's helpful in helping you prepare. Again, it'll open up at midnight on March 1st. Will remain open until 11:59 p.m. on March 4th. So you'll have that window to go in and complete the exam. If you guys have any questions for me, please email me. I apologize that this wasn't up already. I thought it was, and I've had some issues with some of my videos not getting posted. So on that note, I have not posted video lectures of the PowerPoints. Since you guys have the PowerPoints, the lectures cover those PowerPoints. I can go through, I can provide you video lectures if they are helpful to you. I've noticed from one of the earlier chapters, I think one person looked at it. So if it's not helpful to you, I don't want to waste your time by putting a bunch of stuff up there that you guys don't need to watch or aren't interested in using it. Based on the way you guys have been doing on the weekly assignments and in the forums, and given you all of your fairly extensive backgrounds in sales and sales management already, I figure probably it's not that useful to you to have me lecturing over PowerPoint slides that you already have. If you would like those, I'll be happy to post those. Just send me an email and I'll be glad to put them up there if they're helpful to you. If they're not, there's no sense in it. So anyways, hope that's helpful. If you need any help or have questions, please let me know. I'll be glad to address whatever I can. Have a great week and good luck on the midterm.